What's up, peeps? My name's Ian. I sell books on eBay and Vinted, and it's been a bit of a day so far. So, just moving stuff out of the way so I can slide forward ever so slightly. Yeah, I did things in a different order this morning. Boy was wanting to lift out in the gym first thing, so I thought I'll do my listing early, and then when he goes to the gym, drop him off, go and pick up the orders, etc, etc. And then he decided to go a bit later and a wee bit later and a wee bit later. So I'm only just back from going and grabbing the day's orders, and also I dropped in for a bit of a pick-up, see if there was anything there. 150 books. And a handful of potential absolute bangers. Some really nice and interesting books as well. And I've had a book taken down from Vinted because it is obscene, apparently. Sold it many times already, but this latest copy has been taken down, so I'll need to think about how to relist that and edit the pictures ever so slightly. But let's take a crack through the orders we've had today and then have a look at that. I don't want to keep you too long. There's so much to do today, and it is like 4 o'clock in the afternoon already. So let's go to our eBay orders. 3 orders. Massive, isn't it? Right. Actually 3 okay orders, so I'm not really complaining as such. But yeah, definitely reduced the shop size, so suddenly all the views and the traffic have just like crashed even further. So it doesn't matter what you list, eBay decides how much traffic you're getting, what quality of traffic you're getting, and all of these things based on something out with the algorithm that's about your items and your listings. It's anyway, £8.99 for 3 Yorkshire Shepherdess. I was about to say novels, but they're not. Books. The Yorkshire Shepherdess. There you go. That's her there with her 57 children and 22 dogs, or whatever they are. 1 husband, 8 children, 1,000 sheep. There you go. Far too many husbands, I think. Or was it sheep? But anyway, one or the other. £8.99 for the Yorkshire Shepherdess. And then for about 20 quid, I can't be bothered going in and looking it out. We've got 3 pre-made Wimpy Kid bundles, so a bundle of hardcovers, another bundle of hardcovers, and a bundle of paperbacks. So 20 quid for about 15 Wimpy Kid books. After postage and everything, it's still an alright sale. I'm not going to complain. And the final sale on eBay, again, this one's not too bad. £29.99 for 10 vintage Georgette hair books. Titles such as The Reluctant Widow, Frederica, Sylvester, The Corinthian, etc. If I put any more up, we're going to be blocking the camera, so I won't. But yeah, a nice wee bundle of 10 of those paperbacks. Had them listed for a month or so at least, but they've sold for £29.99. So that's okay. That is okay. It's a poor day on eBay, I'll be honest. What's that, 50 odd quid? But it's kind of what we expect these days, isn't it? There's really not much more to it. So let's have a look at Vinted, and then I'll show you the stuff that I've picked up that I'm going to try and sell on eBay. So even though eBay doesn't sell anything, I'm still going to try. We'll go to the bottom of my solds. Payment successful. So that's usually a good place to start. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 books. 8 books for £8.42. 2 Little Girls by Kate Medina. Funky Kate Medina. Hide and Seek by Andrea Mara. Quicksand of Memory by that author. Who was it? Michael J. Malone. 12 Nights by Urs Fez. Urs Fez. I've got a few copies of that actually, at least a couple. The place I was in, they had a bundle of them, so I grabbed a few. Thought, well, if one sells, two will sell, three will sell, and it did. Although ultimately only for £1 because I just took an offer on these. Karen Slaughter, Blindsided. Copycat by Alex Lake. Billingham's Buried. And Tim Weaver, The Last Goodbye. And that bundle actually answers one of the questions that came up in the YouTube comments in the video and over the last couple of days. And it's, on Vinted, is all I'm selling new stuff that I list? No, I don't think any of those, actually that's a lie. One of those is gone up in the last couple of days. The rest have all been there for days and weeks. You know, a mixture of time on them. So yeah, if you put up a whole load of new listings, a big chunk of them will sell quickly, and then there's a smattering of the listings that have been sitting for a wee while in there as well. So people will search for things, will find things, will see something that's on your new that comes up in your listing, and then go and dig through some of the older stuff to see what is there and what they can find. And some of them I've had listed pretty much since I started, so you know, potentially 6 weeks on that lot. So yeah, stuff is selling from right throughout, but just like with eBay, and I'm sure with any other site, when you put new stuff up, you always get a bit of a kick on it, and then it slows down over time. But it's good enough for me. It's what I want to be. Talking at Night by Claire Daverley, £1.38. That's it. It's bright, it's orange, and it's a book. So that's 3 key things if you want to sell a bright orange book, is to have a book that is bright and orange. What more can I say? Words of Radiance. So I was talking yesterday about the whole, can you do like retail arbitrage with books? Again, yes you can. I paid about £7 for this, sold it for a tenner. And Kirkcaldy, you're right, it's really not worth it for the markup. So, you know, if you were to go out and buy 10 books for £7 to make £30 back, it's a lot of money out for a pretty minor return, but it proves there is potential to do it. So I'm not suggesting you go out and spend £7 in a book, but there will be lots of titles out there that if you can pick them up for £3 or £4, there's a fiver to be made. So there is potential there if the books in your area are not priced as cheaply as I'm able to get them for. So yeah, a tenner for that one. Was it a tenner or was it more? Was it just a tenner? £10.72. There you go. Which also, one of the questions from, again, the other day, I did actually answer it in the comments for a change, which I know don't usually do, but I did this time. What will I do when my cheap 25p books are no longer being sold by the charity shops? And when I started out, I relied on books off the shelf in charity shops and getting them as cheap as possible, which meant paying, you know, anything up to £1 a book, depending on what it was. I buy very little off the shelf now because I've spent 2 years talking to people, explaining what I do, finding those where I can help them out and they can help me out. And that's why I get so many books so quickly at a really, really, really good price, which suits them because it's more than they were going to get for them by throwing them in the bin or sending them off to the Ragman or World of Books. And it suits me because it means I can get quite a large quantity at one go that is going to make me a few quid. And it's as simple as that. A few of the shops that were selling books at, you know, 3 for £1, 4 for £1, they don't do that anymore. Their prices have gone up because they have been mandated to do so. But I have, you know, agreements with them that as long as I take plenty and make it worth their while for me to do that, then I can go in and spend money with them and get a lot of stock at a really good price. So work on those relationships. Tell people what you do, whether it's, you know, charity shops, going round car boot sales, find the guys that do the house clearances. You know, if they get a big box of books, let you know, because you might be able to take it off their hands, you know, straight away. They don't have to store it, they don't have to deal with it, they don't have to do anything. They get a few quid in their pocket and that's it, it gets dealt with. So there's lots of ways to source. It's not just about going to charity shops. But that's a great way to get started and see what's out there in the world. But if you want to really make any money, you need to go to the next level sourcing wise, so that you're getting stuff in a little bit more bulk and working it out that way. Zen, I know you keep offering me books, and I'm unable to take them still at the moment. But yeah, Zen is a great example of somebody who has a load of books and is wanting to get rid of them as quickly and easily as possible. He doesn't want to deal with all the little finicky bits of selling them as such. And I'm unable to take the volume that he's got. So it's, you know, it's one of these things. There's plenty of people out there who will be able to supply you. You've got to go out and find them. You've got to talk to people. You've got to let folk know what you do. And some people will go, oof, I don't want anything to do with that. And others will go, ah, you know what? I can help you out with that. And there you go. I remember last summer, I was in a wee shop in Ayr, somewhere just going in for a browse, and I'd bought 15, 20 books. And at the counter, and the guy that was behind me says, oh, do you take a lot of books? I says, aye. He says, I've got some paperbacks in the car. I was just going to chuck them because I don't want to deal with them anymore. Do you want them? I thought, aye, why not? And he had 20, 30, 40 books. Can't remember the exact number, but it was a good couple of big bags. He says, I just take them because it saves me having to deal with them. And I know the charity shops don't want them because they can't sell them. And it was like, yeah, great, fantastic. Nothing spectacular in them, just bread and butter. But you got to, you know, get out in the world and you will find those sourcing opportunities. Anyway, let's get on with the Vinted orders, because I've still got to show you the good stuff once we get to the end of it. Right, we'd had Mr. Brandon Sanderson, who writes like a 5-year-old. I've decided I do not like Brandon Sanderson's writing at all. Bundle of 4 books, £7.88. I mean, he writes better than me. I think I had five novels I wrote in my 20s, and they were awful. I mean, I enjoyed writing them. I enjoy reading them, but they're truly awful. Arthur Golden, Memoirs of a Geisha. Graham Greene, Made in England. Katsuo Ishiguro, The Remains of the Day. And the other classic to go with that set, Terry Pratchett's Monstrous Regiment. Right. £6.42 for 6 James Patterson books. Anyone who sees my Vinted page will know I listed a few dozen Patterson the other day. So that's 6 of them gone for £6.42. I've listed them all like £1 or £1.25, apart from the hardcovers. And I'm honest, I'm expecting to get £1 a book for them, which is exactly what happened there. And £1 a book's fine because I've got Hunters. A Woman in Berlin by Anonymous. I think this was my last copy of this. I'm scanning the shelves behind me there to see if I've got any more stashed. But I had quite a few copies. I'd had them for ages. They did nothing on eBay, and they have all sold on Vinted. This time for £2.50 for that one. And then another single book, an offer for £1. So that's what, to me, £1.48. Seri Plocki, Chernobyl, History of Tragedy. So a nice wee Penguin book there. £1.48. And then a bundle of 10 more James Patterson. This is, here we go, Alicar 95. This is the third stack of Patterson. There's been other titles mixed up in amongst them, but this is the third big stack they have bought from me. The one book that isn't Patterson is Giovanna Fletcher, Mrs. Tom. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Count them. 9 Patterson books. There we go. 3 nice hardcovers at the bottom. A big stack of paperbacks up top. I'm not going to go through them all, because Jimmy P's books don't vary much, do they? If you love them, you love them, but there's not much else to them. £12.50 that lot sold for. So it's more than £1 a book. See, I do price up the hardcovers a little bit, just to kind of differentiate them from the paperbacks as much as anything else, but still quite happy to take a little over £1 a book for that stack there. Which takes me on to a bundle of 1, And this was another offer. Alien Harvest by Robert Sheckley. So a wee bit of sci-fi. It's pretty vintage. And that went for £1.58. Somebody's just come clattering in my door. 2 seconds. Just the boy back early. He's going to the gym, and then his girlfriend was meeting him to drop off a tub of caramel shortbread that they both made the other night on their date. Kids do the strangest things. So he's just come back with a wee tub of caramel shortbread. So I'm going to finish this up, and then I'm going to go and have some coffee and caramel shortbread. I love caramel shortbread. I've wanted to write a book about touring the country, trying caramel shortbread in all the different areas to see which one was the best. Never got round to it, obviously, but I still, every time I go somewhere, that's what I've got to try. You know, you want a thumb thickness. I've got quite big thumbs, not massive, but thick. Thumb thickness of shortbread, pinky thickness of caramel, and then enough to get a bite and a crack of dark chocolate across the top. Chewy-ish caramel, not too tough, but you know, anyway, I'm getting totally sidelined. I'll see if theirs is as good as what I'm talking about there. Another couple of orders to go through. We've got a bundle of 7 for £10.67. And this is a bit of a, I was going to say a mixed bag. It's not that mixed a bag. We've got some Francis Hardinge, Deep Light. Freeing Grace. Charity Norman. Some Lucinda Riley, The Butterfly Room. Hamnet by Maggie O'Farrell. Both of those last 2 books, I've got more of them to list. The Christmas Love Letters by Sue Moorcroft. I think that's a horror. Kind of a cross between Stephen King and early Robert Jordan. Me Talk Pretty One Day, David Sedaris. And Joanna Trollope, Mum and Dad. There we go. So that bundle of 7 for whatever I said it sold for, which was £10.67. So yeah, that's nice. That is nice. Okay, well, 3 more orders to go. £2.38 for some John Sanford, Silent Prey, Storm Prey, an author I'd never heard of until a few weeks ago, and I've sold dozens of his books since. When a gangster ring carries out a daring drugs raid on a hospital pharmacy, leaving several staff injured and one medical orderly dead, the Minneapolis police conclude that it must have been an inside job. There you go, thrillers, kind of police procedurals. I guess it's in the vein of like some Michael Connolly, but they've been incredibly popular for somebody I'd never heard of. Which, I mean, great stuff. I've not heard of everybody by any stretch of the imagination, but still, you expect to have some knowledge or awareness of authors. You know, having been buying books consistently for quite a long time, you think you would have at least seen them, but no. Next is another bundle of 2 for £4. Pop Goes the Weasel. And there's no song for that one, well, that I know of. Truth or Dare, both by M.J. Ulrich. So a couple more thrillers. And the final Vinted order, which came in whilst I was picking, which was quite handy and good timing, for £2.38, The Rachel Incident by Caroline O'Donoghue. So there we go, that's the final one on Vinted. Now I'm in no great rush to get these packed up right at this minute. They will all go out tomorrow morning when it's time to do me shipping stuff. But I don't have to get them packed up straight away now, which is why I can go and drink coffee and eat cake. But before I do that, I did have one more little thing to just show you, really. I'm just moving everything back up onto the desk that I sat in front of me. There you go. That's everything piled up there that needs to be packed, which is quite a modest bundle actually. It won't take too long. Right, I did my pick up today, and as often happens, not all the time, but often happens, there was some interesting stuff. So I'm just going to put it up beside me here in kind of order. There we go. A wee bundle there, and oh, that is heavy. a big bag here. And in the big bag here, we've got, let's see if that focuses in at all. I don't know if that's focusing because my eyesight's so bad it's hard to see. Maybe if I get behind it. That. The British Journal Photographic Almanac, 1938. 64 gravure pictures. Cost £3 bob. There you go. And it is exactly what it says. Oh my goodness. I just opened a page at random there. 1938. And that's like a nude woman. There's nipple. My goodness. I do not expect to see that. And jeez, I'm crow. I know that's not appropriate for YouTube. 1938. I thought everyone was a prude back then. Oh my golly goodness. That's what I expected to see. And perhaps, yes, that. Not that. That's... It's everywhere, man. It's everywhere. Is this like a porn magazine from the 30s? Is this how they used to do it? Bloomin' heck. That's... yeah. So, aye, that's not what I planned on showing you, but I'm really quite, gobsmacked. I know, like, the human body, the naked form, is nothing new in art, but just photography stuff from the 30s, I didn't expect to see nuddy women in it. Anyway, I've got a bundle of these, so 1938, 40, 37, so they do go back a wee bit before that. I just picked them all up because I don't really know where they would be. Naked men, but, two men on a rope, but at least it's a wee bit more, more nude women. Babies, old people, big hats, seagulls. It's quite more nude women. Bloomin' heck. Right, okay. Oh, geez, oh. Right, this is definitely the kind of, I don't know, the Playboy of its day. It's just nuddies all the way through. So I'm just really, really surprised. So, okay, 1937, that's our oldest one, I think. Sorry, I'm lying, 1935. Let's see what 1935 brings up. Imperial plates. There's a lot of advertising in them, obviously. I mean, that's... yeah, nudity, 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 hats. Okay, so yeah, the nudity started in at least 1935. If we get any older, 36, 37, 38, that's the ones. 50s, 40s. We can spot the warrior ones because they're not quite as good quality. 48, 47, 46. Oh, there we go, 47. That's cute. That's curious. That's the year my mammy was born. 1932 was my dad, so we don't quite go back as far enough for that. But let's... oh, lots of war pictures, funnily enough. But still, nuddy women. Old guys, and then a bit of side boob. So I just find it, like... it's always a wee bit of an insight into culture at the time. I say, you're brought up thinking that people were a lot more prudish and there was no such thing as nudity and all these things back in ye day. But we know that's not true. We know that's not true. but it's still surprising to see it. But it's, I mean, they're actually really, really nice, interesting little books. See, that's the kind of thing I expect to see. I'm not going to go through every single one because that's just a bit of a pain. But it seems we've got from about 1934 through to 1955. That's what it seems like. So quite a few of them. From what I can see, only one has sold in the last however long on eBay for about £7. So I'm going to stick the whole lot up. Just put them up as a job lot. See who wants them. There's a bit of weight to them because they are older, denser books. But rather than try to sell off individual volumes as it goes, I'll just get them all listed up. And how many have we got in total? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. I think 19, it's nearly 20, but 19 of them. But yeah, I don't know, £100, something like that, and just see what happens. But aye, that's a curiosity. Next, let's move on to the next ones that we got today. Right, a couple of these are interesting. One of them's interesting. Yep, so this one's interesting. Enid Blyton, 5 go off to camp. There's no dust jackets in these, which is an awful shame. First edition, third impression. So it's not valuable or anything, but still quite a nice little book. And I've got another couple that are very similar, so again I'll probably just lot these up. This one is 5 Have a Wonderful Time, and this is a first edition from 1952. There we go. So it's just red cloth bindings. I think that's worth like a tenner, if that, just because it's a first edition. So nothing spectacular, but we've got a first, a third, and I think this is a second print. Oh no, sorry, that's a lie. This is a 13th impression from 1963, first printed 1943, and then it goes all the way through. So they're a wee bit curious. I'll stick the 3 of them up in a bundle, not for an awful lot of money, and we'll just see what happens with them. Yeah, maybe somebody wants them to complete a collection, but yeah, they were quite nice. And we got some vintage sci-fi, some Ray Bradbury, The Silver Locusts, UK 75p, so what's that, about 76, 77? 77, there you go, 1977, so it's the first print of that edition of it. It's somewhere between 10 and 20 quid is what it's potentially got a selling value of. And then we also have Robert W. Chambers, The King in Yellow. Again, kind of 15, 20 quid is what it looks like. Where's this one? Copyright 1895. That is not when this was published. Printed in the USA. I don't actually have a date on that one, but it's $1.50. It's an ace. I'm guessing that's late 60s, early 70s. I'll do a wee bit more research, but again, from the quick eBay look I've done, 15, 20 quid on that one. And then more nudity and depravity. There we go, Robert Heinlein, Glory Road, the acknowledged master of space age fiction. UK 60p, so I'm going to guess 1975. How far out am I? Well, 1976. So that's like a third print or something. It's a wee NEL, but again, it looks like it sells for around about £15 to £20. So not bad. I paid 40 quid for everything today. So if I manage to sell everything that I've shown you there, just on those eBay ones, that's going to pay for everything. Whatever I get for the photography journals is probably getting into profit once I get the rest of it sold. You know, might need a wee bit of it just to cover my buy costs today, but still quite nice. And I've got one more. So always tatty old books. I pick up some if they look kind of interesting, or if it's an author or a title, something that I recognise. And that was the case with this one. I saw this copy, an older copy of The Great Escape by Paul Brickhill. So it's the book the film was based on. This was first published in 1951. And there is a first edition listed for, I think, £600 on eBay at the moment. So yeah, that would be the ones that were first published in MCM-LI, which is 1951. The first edition one that's on eBay, I think this dust jacket's actually in slightly better condition. There's a few other, first edition, second prints and the rest of it for like 100 quid, 70 quid, 120, thereabouts. There's not a great sold history on them, but having said that, I could only see one true first print, first edition that was listed, and like I say, that was the one at 600 quid. So I was delighted when I opened this up and discovered that it is first print, first edition. I don't know if that's going to focus on that for you, but yeah, first printed in 1951, and further editions all have second printing, third printing, fourth printing, etc. listed below the title there. So that is first print, first edition of The Great Escape by Paul Brickhill, which has the potential to sell for hundreds of pounds. I don't know what I'll get for it, but I'm guessing that'll cover my buy cost for the day for everything I got. So that's the nicest thing I've found in quite a long time. I say I don't know what it'll end up going for, what I might end up selling it for. It might be something that sits for the next 5 years before the right buyer comes along for it. But when it is like reasonable high value items such as that, I don't mind waiting. I'll just get it, wrap it up, protect the cover, and it will live somewhere until it sells. But a lovely wee book in good condition. The dust jacket is complete, it's unclipped. There's one little name in pen written on the inside, and other than that, I don't see any foxing or anything on it. It really is in cracking condition. So yeah, absolute banger. Delighted to find that one, and we shall just see what we can do with it. And that's when you're just picking up lots of stuff fast. Grab it if it looks interesting. I do end up with things that I will never sell, and I will take them and I'll drop them off round at the wee bookstall at the local supermarket and such like. But when you're grabbing it all, these are the things that you find that even if it never sells, it's still a cracking little book to have in the collection until it does. So there we go. That is all for today. A nice day of sales. Some really cracking pickups. Interesting, for me anyway, pickups. And all of that stuff will be going up on eBay very, very soon. I'll maybe do that this evening if I can be bothered to get this stuff packed and clear the space to get the photographs taken. And I need to work out how to list these things without all the nudity. Yeah, I'll maybe just need to place something across the middle of that one to prevent computers getting offended by the threat of nudity, and then do the same for Irvin Welsh's porno in Vinted. It's a blow-up doll's face on the front of the cover. I've sold that book many times, but this time it's just been flagged up as indecent. Anyway, that's enough. Thank you all for watching. Today is Sunday afternoon, isn't it? Yeah, so I'll be back doing this again in a few hours, to be honest. Don't know what time this will get uploaded this evening, but you'll be seeing it when you see it. Thank you very much for watching. Yeah, see you tomorrow. Cheers. Bye-bye.